Imagine waking up one day with the unsettling realization that the life you've been living is not truly your own. That every decision you've made, every belief you hold, and even the desires that drive you may not have originated from the deepest part of who you are, but rather from the expectations, the conditioning, and the unseen influences of the world around you. This is not a hypothetical scenario. This is the silent, unacknowledged state in which most people live their entire lives. They are ghosts in their own story, actors playing a role they never auditioned for, living according to a script written by society, by their upbringing, by the fears that whisper in the background of their minds. They are trapped within a version of themselves that has been shaped by external forces, seeking validation from the outside world, believing that happiness comes from approval, success, or fitting in. Yet deep down, there is a quiet unrest, an unshakable sense that something is missing, a sense that the person they are is just a surface-level construct, a fraction of a much deeper, more profound reality. That feeling, that faint, persistent echo in the halls of your soul is a message. It is the voice of your unconscious mind calling you to something greater. It is a sign that a greater version of yourself is waiting to emerge. Before we decipher that message, I want you to perform a small act of rebellion. Go to the comments and answer this question. What is one thing you would do if you are absolutely certain no one would judge you? Just one thing. Let's see how many of us are hiding the same dreams. Now, let us begin the journey to a place where that judgment no longer has power over you. Today, we explore one of Carl Jung's most profound insights, the idea that true life does not begin until you find yourself. But what does that truly mean? It means we must first understand the forces that keep you lost. It means we are going to explore the hidden archetypes within you, these ancient patterns buried deep in your psyche that hold the key to unlocking your greatest potential. The path to self. To find yourself, you must first understand the architecture of your own prison. Jung, a pioneer of depth psychology, believed that most people never take the journey of self-discovery because they are unknowingly confined by three powerful, invisible forces. We will make them visible. The first force, the social armor, the persona. From the moment we enter the world, we are conditioned. We are given names, identities, and predefined roles. We are taught what is acceptable and what is not, what is rewarded and what is punished. This process is so subtle and gradual that we rarely question it. We adapt, we conform, and over time, we learn to suppress parts of ourselves that don't align with the expectations placed upon us. Think back to your childhood. Were there moments when you expressed yourself freely, only to be met with disapproval? Perhaps you were told to be realistic, to stop being too sensitive, or that certain emotions and desires were inappropriate. Slowly, you learned to hide those parts of yourself, to tuck them away where no one can see them. And in doing so, you began to build a mask. Jung called this mask the persona. A persona is the face we present to the world. It is a necessary tool. It allows us to function in society, to navigate relationships, and to gain acceptance. But here is the problem. The more we identify with this mask, the more we lose touch with our real selves. We begin to believe that we are the persona, forgetting that there is something deeper, more authentic, beneath it. How much of your identity is a reflection of your authentic self, and how much of it is a carefully constructed mask shaped by external pressures? The persona becomes a prison when you forget it's a mask. You become a collection of roles: the good son, the diligent employee, the supportive friend, but the true essence of who you are, the wild, unconditioned self, is left starving in the dungeon of your own psyche. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Carl Jung. The second force, the inner saboteur, the shadow. If the persona is what we show the world, the shadow is what we hide from it. And more importantly, what we hide from ourselves. It consists of everything we have rejected or suppressed within us. Our fears, our unspoken desires, our vulnerabilities, and even our hidden strengths. And here is where it gets more profound. The shadow doesn't just disappear. It doesn't vanish simply because we refuse to look at it. Instead, it operates beneath the surface. It influences our thoughts, our behaviors, and our emotional reactions. The parts of ourselves that we reject don't go away. They manifest in unconscious ways, often in the form of projection. Have you ever intensely disliked someone without fully understanding why? Have you ever been triggered by certain behaviors in others that seem to provoke a strong, irrational emotional reaction? Jung believed that when we are disturbed by qualities in other people, it is often because those very qualities exist within us, hidden in our own shadow. But what if I told you that within this shadow lies the key to true self-discovery? That the parts of yourself you've suppressed and ignored are not your enemies, but rather the missing pieces of your wholeness? This is where most people stop. Why? Because facing yourself is uncomfortable. It requires looking at aspects of your personality that you have long ignored. It demands that you question long-held beliefs, challenge your fears, and confront the inner conflicts that have shaped your life. This constant distraction is not accidental. It is a defense mechanism, a way of avoiding the deeper questions that linger beneath the surface. But no matter how much we try to avoid them, these hidden aspects of ourselves do not go away. The third force, the ancestral echo, the collective unconscious. This is Jung's most radical and powerful idea. He believed that within every human being, there exist universal patterns, deep-rooted psychological blueprints that influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in ways we often do not fully understand. He called these patterns archetypes. Jung argued that archetypes are ancient, collective images stored in what he called the collective unconscious, a level of the psyche shared by all human beings, inherited from the experiences of our ancestors. These archetypes shape our personal identity, our relationships, and even the way we perceive the world. Think about the stories that have been told throughout history: the hero's journey, the wise mentor, the shadowy villain, the innocent child. These characters appear in myths, religions, literature, and even in our dreams. They are not just fictional. They represent psychological forces that exist within all of us. And whether we realize it or not, these archetypes are constantly at play in our lives. For example, consider the hero archetype. This is the part of you that longs for purpose, that feels called to something greater. It is the part of you that seeks to overcome obstacles, grow stronger, and achieve a higher version of yourself. But this archetype does not exist in isolation. It is always accompanied by the shadow. The problem is, if we are not conscious of these forces, they control us. You may be unconsciously playing out the archetype of the martyr, constantly sacrificing yourself for others. Or the archetype of the wanderer, never committing to anything. You believe these are your choices, but in reality, you are being puppeteered by ancient invisible strings. This is the prison, the persona that keeps you acceptable, the shadow that keeps you fragmented, the archetypes that keep you predictable. So, how do you break free? How do you step beyond the illusion of self and into the fullness of your existence? Jung offered a path, a difficult, courageous path. He called it individuation. Individuation is the process of becoming one's most authentic self. It is not about becoming someone new. It is about becoming more of who you truly are. It is not about perfection. It is about wholeness. It is about integrating all aspects of ourselves, the good, the bad, the light, and the dark. This is where the real journey begins. It is a journey of 3 fundamental acts of courage. Act of courage 1, embrace the unknown. Most people fear the unknown because it represents uncertainty. But the unknown is where growth happens. It is where transformation occurs. When you stop resisting the mysteries within you and instead lean into them with curiosity, you begin to see the world and yourself with new eyes. Act of courage 2. Release attachment to labels. You are not just your name. You are not just your job, your past, or your personality. You are something far beyond definition. When you let go of rigid identities, you create space for something greater to emerge. The real you. Most people live their entire lives as strangers to themselves. They follow the paths laid out for them, never realizing that they have the power to choose something different. Act of courage 3. Listen to the unconscious. Your dreams, your instincts, your deep intuitions, they are not random. They are messages from the self, guiding you toward wholeness. The more you tune in, the more you will begin to recognize patterns, synchronicities, and signs that lead you toward your true path. Jung emphasized the importance of creative expression. Art, writing, music, and other forms of self-exploration as ways of accessing and integrating the unconscious mind. Finding yourself is not a destination. It is an ongoing journey, an unfolding of deeper and deeper layers of truth. And perhaps the most important step is simply this: awareness. The moment you begin to question your thoughts, your reactions, and your deeply held beliefs, you are already taking the first steps toward transformation. And here is the ultimate revelation, the most powerful truth of all: you were never truly lost. You have always been here. The self you have been seeking has been within you all along, waiting to be remembered, waiting to be reclaimed. This realization is both liberating and terrifying, because it means that everything you have believed yourself to be, all the fears, the limitations, the stories you tell yourself, is not the full truth. It is merely a construct, a temporary framework built by the mind. The self is not a static entity. It is fluid, ever-changing, and far greater than we have been led to believe. So now, the choice is yours. Will you continue living as a fragment of who you truly are, bound by old fears and illusions? Or will you step forward into the unknown, embracing the vast, limitless being that you are meant to become? Because life does not truly begin until you find yourself. And now, you know the way. The greatest obstacle to finding yourself is not just fear or self-doubt or external conditioning. It is something far deeper, something hidden in the very fabric of how we perceive reality itself. And in the next part, we are going to uncover it. If this hit you in the chest, if you felt a flicker of recognition in this message, if you are one of the ones who has always felt this way, but never had the words for it, then it is time to join the others. This is more than a channel. It is a gathering of sovereign minds. Go to the comments and make your declaration. Write, I am the journey. It is a declaration that you are no longer a destination defined by others, but an ongoing process of becoming. Subscribe to the Thinker's Codex. The path awaits.